Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Israel Update. I am delighted because I have got the Dubinator in studio with me. Look at him and how glorious he is. I'm so happy you're here with me, Dubs.
So great to be here on the soil of America and just to be here in person.
It's wonderful. Now, before we get into the show, what are you doing here?
Well, you know, first and foremost, we were going to my son's wedding.
Yes.
And it took place in Morocco, actually, on June. It was June 12th. And we woke up the next morning on the 13th, and the war with Iran started.
It started, yes.
And we got stuck outside of Israel. The airspace was locked down.
Yes.
It took us about 2 weeks or so to understand that they're not going to bring us to Israel so fast. You know, it was like the war took place for 12 days. And then after that, we realized that there's not really a way for us to get back to Israel until there'll be some rescue flights. So out of all the places, we said, you know what, where would we like to be waiting for our rescue flight? And we flew to the US. I was very lucky that some people that are following us, and they invited me to speak at their churches and to speak at their synagogues, to really, you know, help us through this very, very hard period of time. And it's a great opportunity for them also to hear the truth, you know, not only social media, but in person. You know, sometimes they say the screen is a divider and you can say something because you're untouchable. So we accepted the challenge, and we're coming, and we're invited to speak at several places, which is great for us. And above all, to be here in the studio in Los Angeles with all these amazing memories and the establishment of our beautiful ministry, this is something that is so dear to my heart.
And I'm so happy that you are here. And for anybody watching out there, if you do want to get hold of this guy and invite him to come to your church, I could not encourage you to do that more. What Donna and I played on the show that played on Wednesday was talking about Kim prophesying about the BBB, what we think is the big, beautiful bill, about the New America Party. And in one of those prophecies, you see my mom standing behind Kim and then Doobie just off to the side. And this guy just, you know, like he's saying, there's so much history here, there's so many memories. And he was also just part of so many of the massive moments that took place with Kim, so many of those moments of prophecy. And so I'm encouraging you, you know, you can email us on israelupdate@houseofdestiny.org. You can email him directly.
Oh, to you, it's better.
Email me. I'll be his secretary.
Yes.
Email me, israelupdate@houseofdestiny.org, and I will put you in touch with him if you're wanting him to come and guest speak at your church. I could not encourage you more to do that. He's phenomenal. But Dubs, let us talk about where you think things are headed with Israel. I know we speak about it all the time, but with Trump, with what's going on, with everything that happened with Iran, where do you think things are sitting at now?
Well, the most important thing that I couldn't predict, but, you know, God orchestrates things and coordinates things the way you can never even expect in advance, is being here on the soil of America at the same time that Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, is on the soil of America, literally had his fourth meeting with President Trump. No other world leader has met Trump since the beginning of his administration, you know, the last elections. No other world leader met with Trump so many times to show all of us that the coordination, and obviously Bibi said it on his meeting with Trump, and when the reporters were asking questions, and Trump said it himself even a few weeks ago already, there was no closer relationships between Israel and America since the beginning of the history of Israel, the newborn state of Israel in 77 years. The relationships, the coordination, the friendship, the commitment, the trust, that's what Bibi said, the trust that has been established between the US and America has never been like that, ever, ever, ever. Also, you know, the Secretary of Defense of America said that Israel is an exemplar ally to the US. So this is something that is happening right now as we speak. And you're asking me, what's coming ahead? What's coming ahead is probably the beginning of the destruction of the axis of evil. Because once God puts together these two kings, and I'm not saying kings just lightly. Kim called them kings.
Yes.
This man that Kim prophesied about him being elected for 2 terms. When everybody said what he's talking about in 2020, we knew, your mom knew. She said it's not going to be maybe consecutive, but it's going to happen. This man, this person that is a praying president in the White House, a man that before even being elected this time, he went to the ohel of Rabbi Schneerson of Lubavitch, and I've seen his footage there at the rabbi's resting place, and I wrote it on my Facebook and I wrote it on all my social media. I said, today, the determination of the results of the American elections has been done. Once he's been there, connected to God, connected to prophetic voices. We just know how prophetic was Rabbi Schneerson when he even prophesied over the life of Bibi. And he told him that when he was a young politician, not even a politician, a young diplomat, he told him that he's going to be a king of Israel. So the fact that these 2 people are united together, being in the White House, met already twice in the White House in the last few days, it means huge fear and intimidation to the axis of evil. And I know that if they'll continue to be coordinated like this, although we're hearing a lot of rumors and voices that are saying that Trump is putting pressure over Bibi, you know, all these things are happening for a great reason, because Bibi has a lot of internal problems within Israel with the politics. So sometimes it's easier to picture things as our biggest ally has asked for a favor or is asking us to do this. How can we fail him? And so on for domestic reasons. But I'm sure that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald J. Trump are on the same page about what has to be done with the axis of evil and how to bring peace. Literally, Bibi spoke to the meeting was when Bibi came to the dinner, he brought a letter of recommendation to the United Nations and also to the Committee of Nobel Prize for Peace about Donald Trump pursuing peace. So I think that we are in a beginning of a great era between the 2 nations. And even though sometimes it looks like we have dispute or discussions, look what happened just this week. The former administration has been freezing military equipment that was necessary for Israel's victory in the West Bank and also in Gaza to save lives. I mean, just this month, 25 Israeli soldiers died in the Gaza Strip because of the fact that we didn't have the D9s that usually go before the forces and clear the land. And there were booby traps and side bombs, and these people died because the American administration froze the supply. And just a few days ago, we got a new shipment of dozens of these D9s that has been frozen by the former administration, and Israel now have them, which will enable us to clear the land and save lives of Israelis. That's where things are going right now. And I know another thing. I know that Trump has been speaking and talking about Iran wanting to negotiate, but they say one thing and they mean another thing. I think that this time they're not going to get a slack. I think this time they'll have to stand behind their words. They'll have to open their land for the International Committee of Supervising the Nuclear Energy, because otherwise I know for sure that if they will start enriching again or continuing with their program, nuclear program, this time it's not just words that has been sprayed out in the open for decades, and every prime minister of Israel would say this should happen, so we will attack. The military option is on the table. The military option has been already used, and it can be reused when necessary.
And again, what Dubi's saying here, I love this because we're thinking ahead with hope. We're looking ahead at this going. We've seen so many issues. And yes, October 7th happened. That was horrifying. We're coming up on 2 years of that. There's still hostages. But we're also looking, Kim prophesied this, Dubes, about God saying, look what I will do with America and Israel at the same time. And even what you're saying with Bibi being here, nobody else has met with President Trump 4 times like this. It's very clear that God is doing something. It's very clear that these men are in alignment. Nobody's going to have a perfect relationship, but there's a very clear aligning of America and Israel and the interests between both nations.
Yes, and you can see now even what's happening with Syria, that there is a great change. And Trump said that many nations has been asking him to remove the sanctions over Syria. He was impressed by the will of the new president to get out of the evil ways and to start rebuild something better for Syria. He even said straight to the face of Netanyahu, even Netanyahu was asking to remove those sanctions.
Yes.
There's an opportunity, there's an opening. You know us, a lot of us are Abraham friends, you know,
Yes.
Israel partners. We started as Abraham friends. Some of us are still Abraham friends or Israel partners. And what's growing is the Abrahamic Accords. I mean,
Yes.
more and more nations like Saudi Arabia now is asking to find a way to join in. Maybe even Syria, maybe even Lebanon. There's been already talks about Hezbollah willing to disarm some elements of the militants in order to see if Lebanon and Israel can come into a better terms. Although, you know, on the action, they said it on speech, but in the action, just last night, Israel had to do and conduct a ground operation within Lebanon just to dismantle them from some of their arms and the places that have been hiding ammunition and things like that. But you know what? This is the nature of our enemies. And I think they'll come into terms when the time comes, when they will see that their ways are not really working for them, when there's more and more voices in the Islamic world. I mean, literally, even in Israel, there are some sheikhs from Hebron.
I was about to ask you about this. This is what I was about to say.
Go ahead.
No, so what I was going to say is I wanted to ask Dubi you this question. I've seen on Jerusalem Post and all these different news articles a bunch of sheikhs in the Palestinian area in Hebron saying that they want to remove themselves from the Palestinian Authority. Talk about that, Dubs. Tell us the significance of this.
So this is something that is unprecedented. There
Yes.
were never cracks
Yes.
between the leadership of the PLO, because
Yes.
they are under the PLO, you know,
Yes.
they are under the Palestinian authorities right now,
Yes.
and between the sheikhs or the religious elements within their
Yes.
territories, because the religious elements would be the backup and the ones that are always in alignment with their political pursuit to have their own one-state solution, if
Yes.
you can call it
Yes.
this way, which is from the river to the sea. They just
Yes.
want Palestine to be, and
Yes.
they want Israel gone. But now it's the first time that people, and I can tell you why it came about. I don't know if you remember when we were talking with Donen speaking about the fatwa.
Yes.
And I told you that the fatwa is only when they realize and understand that in the natural, they cannot defeat the Jews. They cannot defeat the God of Israel. In the natural, they cannot actually conduct war and wage war in an effective way against Trump and Netanyahu, because these people has been set in their place by God, as we spoke before. So they need to recruit their Allah and their believers in a fatwa, in a religious verdict, in order to try and wage war against the God of Israel and remove them. I think that the fact that they turned into this route woke up some other sheikhs and other local leaders to see, listen, if you came to a place when you want your Allah to fight against the God of Israel, which the same prophets of God of Israel are the prophets of Islam, as they call them, which is Elijah and it's Moses, and even Jesus is one of them who came with Muhammad to receive the Quran from their heaven. I think they woke up to realize that that's something very wrong there, and they need to break right or break left out of this vicious cycle. So these people are even in a place when they speak about trying to break away from the PLO and from the Palestinian authorities on the religious level. They also declared that they want to do this on a political level and start a minor, I would say a minor or mini caliphate in an area which considered to be one of the most radicalized places, Hebron. And Hebron is very symbolic to be the place where this is going to happen, because this is where the Machpelah cave is located. Yes. This is where our Abraham is buried. Yes. This is the land that Abraham purchased in his own money, 400 bricks of silver. Yes. Right there, this is where Sarah is buried, where Rebecca is buried, where Leah is buried. This is where Jacob is buried. This is where Isaac is buried. This is where the forefathers of our faith, the Judeo-Christian values, the Judeo-Christian faith, these people are commemorated, remembered, and resting in that soil. That's how important it is, because now you can see that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is working on the hearts even of the enemies of Israel, that they want to see the truth and maybe enter into the Abrahamic Accord, which there's no more symbolic place than Hebron.
Absolutely. It makes me so excited, and I'm encouraging you, go do a little word search on Hebron and see what comes up in the Bible. But thank you all so much for joining us. Dubs, thank you so much for being with me in studio. I love it when we're able to be together in person like this. But thank you to everybody watching. Remember, if you want to book Doobie for anything at your church, wherever you're at, email israelupdated@houseofdestiny.org and I will connect you guys. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. We say, as always, Israel is forever, and we'll see you next week.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends. I'm Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding his revelations. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside.
This treasure that we have in Christ is it takes some seeking, it takes some finding. And then once you do, man, you'll sell all that you have to purchase that field, to have that treasure.
We have to be prepared to fight, not as in conflict with somebody, but just fight within ourselves to find what needs to be found, to seek what needs seeking. And Christ admonished us to do that.
I find that so cool that in Scripture, God, he does this so that we can seek him and get the revelation of it. Satan doesn't operate via revelation. He can't.
Watch now at real-faith.tv.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes, only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.